The winning mentality doesn't come from comfort or ease. It is forged in the fire of adversity. It's built when nobody's watching, when the lights are off, and when no applause is coming. It's the decision to keep going when quitting feels easier. This mindset is not a gift, it's a choice. It's about waking up with purpose even when you're tired, even when you're broken, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what needs to be done not just when you're motivated, but especially when you're not. The truth is, champions are not created on game day. They are revealed, and what reveals them is how they live when the cameras aren't on. Having a winning mentality means being anchored in commitment over feelings. Feelings are fleeting. Some days you'll feel like giving up. Some days you'll feel like you're not good enough. But the one with a winning mentality doesn't negotiate with emotions. They stand on decisions. They remember why they started, and they lean on that reason to push through the resistance. When others wait for motivation, the winner is already in motion. When others need praise to perform, the winner builds in silence. This mentality thrives off of consistency, not convenience. Adversity is the training ground. Life doesn't hand you victories. It makes you earn them through struggle, pain, and setbacks. It's in those moments when you get knocked down and have to decide whether or not to rise. That's where the winning mentality is forged. It whispers to you when your body aches, when your heart breaks, when your mind tells you to quit. And it says, we don't stop here. It says, we didn't come this far to only come this far. It says, get up, even if you have to crawl. The winning mentality doesn't ask for easier circumstances. It asks for stronger shoulders. It builds resilience brick by brick, day by day, through small choices that compound over time. It's not about a single moment of glory. It's about the hours no one sees, the extra reps, the hard conversations. The sacrifices, it's about the standard you refuse to drop even when no one's holding you accountable. That's what separates average from excellent, not talent, not luck, but mentality. And so, if you want to win, not just once, but over and over, you must become the kind of person who can't be broken by circumstance. You must develop a fire inside that doesn't burn out with the wind. Because storms will come, challenges will rise, and people will doubt. But when you've built your mentality through adversity, you don't crumble, you compete, you don't beg for breakthroughs, you create them. And at the end of it all, you realize that it was never about being better than someone else. It was about becoming the strongest version of yourself. That's what winning really means. Discipline is the difference between potential and performance. It's what turns dreams into routines and routines into results. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone is willing to commit to the process. The winning mentality understands that talent might get you noticed, but discipline is what keeps you in the game. It's the ability to show up day in and day out, not for recognition, but because the mission matters more than the mood. Most people want success, but they want it on their own terms, without sacrifice, without discomfort, without the grind. But the person with a winning mentality embraces the grind because they know it's the only way to elevate. When you're disciplined, you don't need to be pushed. You push yourself. You don't wait to feel inspired. You inspire yourself through action. You don't rely on others to hold you accountable. You hold yourself to a standard even when no one's watching. The alarm goes off and you rise, the reps hurt and you keep going. The results take time, but you stay locked in. Because you understand something that most people ignore. Success is a slow burn, and discipline is the fuel. Every small act of consistency adds up. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're building something stronger than muscles. You're building mental fortitude. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. It's not exciting. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It's doing the work after a loss. It's sticking to your standards when shortcuts are everywhere. It's the quiet sacrifice that no one claps for, but it's also what creates separation. When talent fades, when motivation dries up, when pressure hits, discipline remains, and the one who has trained themselves to show up no matter what will outlast the one who only shows up when it's convenient. The winning mentality doesn't need outside permission to pursue greatness. It's rooted in a deep sense of internal responsibility. You owe it to yourself to give your best, not because anyone's watching, but because you know what you're capable of. You've seen what happens when you slack, and you've felt the pride that comes from staying the course. You don't chase perfection, but you chase progress relentlessly. Even on your worst day, you give your best effort. That's discipline, that's the edge, that's what keeps you moving forward when others stall. Discipline also teaches you patience. The winning mentality knows that real success doesn't happen overnight. It's earned through years of effort, sweat, and sacrifice. You don't rush it. You respect it. You learn to love the process more than the prize. Because eventually, when the breakthrough comes, you won't be surprised. You'll know you earned it. You'll know it was built on thousands of quiet, unseen moments of effort. And that's the power of discipline. It may not show immediately, but it never fails. The winning mentality doesn't just wait to win, it prepares for it every single day. The winning mentality views failure through a different lens. It doesn't see failure as something final. It sees it as part of the process. Most people run from failure. They treat it like a wall, a sign to stop, a message that says they're not good enough. But the person with a winning mentality embraces failure because they understand it's not the opposite of success, it's a stepping stone toward it. Every setback carries a lesson. Every mistake reveals a weakness to improve. Every fall presents an opportunity to rise stronger. Where most people quit, the winner studies. They ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, why me? Failure is painful, no doubt. It stings. It breaks your pride. It humbles you. But that pain is a teacher. It teaches you where your limits are. It shows you what needs work. It builds humility. And if you lean into it instead of avoiding it, failure becomes fuel. You start to develop emotional toughness. You stop fearing the fall because you know you can get back up. The more you fail and recover, the less afraid you become. Eventually, you stop measuring success by perfection and start measuring it by progress, by the courage to try again when it would be easier to walk away. The person with a winning mentality doesn't pretend to be invincible. They accept their flaws, their losses, and their missteps. But they refuse to let them define them. They don't internalize failure as a reflection of their worth. They don't let it break their identity. Instead, they extract the lesson, adjust their approach, and keep moving. That's the edge, not perfection, but resilience, not never falling, but rising quicker each time. Every scar becomes a reminder of what they've survived. Every failure becomes part of their story, a story of relentless growth and gritty perseverance. This mindset also gives the winner an advantage most don't have: adaptability. When things go wrong, they don't panic. They don't freeze, they pivot, they adjust, they improve, because they've trained themselves not to crumble under pressure, but to thrive in it. While others get discouraged by feedback or rejection, the winner gets energized. They welcome correction, they seek out what others avoid, and they use it all to sharpen their craft. They're not afraid to be seen as imperfect, because they know growth comes from being honest about where you are and intentional about where you're going. And in the long run, it's this relationship with failure that separates the great from the average. The average person lets one bad moment become a bad week, a bad season, or a reason to stop trying. But the one with a winning mentality understands that failure is not there to block them. It's there to build them. It's the testing ground for greatness, the trial before the triumph, the refining fire that prepares them for their breakthrough. They don't run from it, they grow through it, and because of that, they keep moving forward, faster, wiser, and more prepared than ever before. True winners don't just chase trophies, they chase purpose. The winning mentality isn't obsessed with recognition, it's rooted in a deeper mission. While the world teaches people to strive for status, for applause, for likes and approval, the person with a winning mentality rises above all that. Their grind is not powered by ego, it's powered by intention. It's not just about achieving success, it's about becoming significant. They wake up every day not asking, how can I look successful, but rather, how can I make an impact? This shift changes everything. Because when your reason is rooted in something beyond yourself, you become unstoppable. Purpose gives pain meaning. Without purpose, the hard days feel pointless. The setbacks feel suffocating. The sacrifices feel like losses. But when you know why you're doing what you're doing, When you know who's depending on you, what legacy you're building, and what values you refuse to compromise, suddenly every hardship becomes part of the mission. You stop quitting when it's hard and start pushing because it matters. You stop asking for comfort and start demanding greatness from yourself. The winning mentality finds strength in serving something greater than the self. That's what keeps you going when most would fold. The real power in this mindset is that it builds consistency. Passion may get you started, but purpose keeps you going. Purpose fuels effort even when the rewards are delayed. You don't need motivation when you're anchored in purpose. You move with conviction. The applause can fade, the spotlight can dim, the crowd can leave, and yet the winner remains locked in. Because their grind isn't for show, it's for soul. It's not about how many people know your name. It's about how many lives you've touched, how many people you've inspired, and how much discipline you've shown in becoming the person you were meant to be. Purpose-driven people have a different kind of fire. They're not swayed by opinions, they're not chasing trends, they're grounded in principle. They make decisions based on values, not emotions. Their actions align with their identity, not their insecurities. And when you live like that, you earn a different kind of respect, not just from others, but from yourself. You walk with integrity, you speak with authority, you act with courage. That's the winning mentality, knowing who you are, why you're here, and what you're building. And here's the truth. Trophies gather dust, records get broken, status fades, but purpose endures. The impact you make, the values you live by, the legacy you leave behind. Those are the real rewards. That's what the winning mentality is all about. It's about becoming someone worth remembering, not just for what you achieved, but for how you lived. When your drive is rooted in purpose, you're not chasing the moment. You're building a movement, one that outlasts your career, your popularity, and even your lifetime. That's what it means to truly win. Pressure is not the enemy. It's the stage where preparation gets revealed. The winning mentality doesn't shy away from the weight of big moments. It welcomes them. When others panic, the one who has trained relentlessly leans in, not because it's easy, but because they've already faced the battle in their mind. They've rehearsed hardship, visualized obstacles, embraced the grind long before the lights ever came on. Pressure doesn't break them because they've built a foundation strong enough to carry it. They don't crumble. They compete. They don't avoid pressure. They rise through it. This mentality is shaped in silence. It's not built in front of the crowd or under the spotlight. It's built in the early mornings, in the quiet sacrifices, in the lonely hours when no one is watching. While others are waiting for the big opportunity to prove themselves, the winner is preparing every single day like the opportunity is already here. And when the pressure moment arrives, they don't have to fake confidence. They have real confidence because they've earned it through discipline and repetition. It's not arrogance, it's preparation talking. Most people fold under pressure because they weren't honest with themselves in the process. They skipped steps, they avoided discomfort, they trained only when it was convenient. But the one with a winning mentality doesn't cut corners, they build through them. They've conditioned their mind to stay composed when things go sideways. While others react emotionally, they respond intentionally, and that composure under pressure is a game changer. It's not that they don't feel the weight, they just refuse to be crushed by it. Preparation gives you control when everything feels chaotic. It gives you calm in the storm, because deep down you know you're not here by accident. You've earned this. That kind of belief can't be faked or borrowed. It comes from putting in the work day after day. It comes from refusing to let your standard drop even when no one's checking. So when pressure hits, you don't have to pretend. You just perform. You don't get ready. You stay ready. The winning mentality also understands that pressure is a privilege. It means you're doing something that matters. It means the moment is big enough to demand your best, and instead of shrinking back, you embrace it. Because you didn't train for mediocrity. You trained for moments like this. You put in too much time, endured too much pain, and made too many sacrifices to let pressure steal your power. You step in with confidence, not because the moment is small, but because you've made yourself big enough to meet it. In the end, pressure doesn't make diamonds on its own. It reveals whether the work has been done. And for the one with a winning mentality, pressure becomes the proof that they're prepared. It becomes the place where greatness is shown, not suddenly discovered. That's the beauty of the winning mindset. It transforms pressure into performance and fear into fuel. Because when the world says, let's see what you've got, the prepared don't talk, they deliver.